All right, welcome back to Neon Abode, where we play all things survival. We are playing Aska, and it is winter, and we have less than 24 hours left. I'm actually doing this episode a little bit differently. I'm actually starting at the end of the gameplay, and I'm going to loop back to the beginning of winter so that you can kind of get some of the highlights of me going through winter. But I wanted to just kind of upfront give you the information that I think is important for you to know when you are going into your first winter. So there are three things that I think are important. First, food, and of course water, right? Second, clothing, and third, fire. So let's start off talking about food. Now the important thing about food is it keeps your people alive, right? And it doesn't matter. Food's going to be important in fall or autumn. It's going to be important in summer. It's going to be important in spring, and it's going to be important, of course, in the winter. The problem with winter is food is scarce, right? So the farms, for example, let's go take a look at our farm. There are limited crops that you can grow in the farm. So let's just go into any one of our items here. So carrots are off season, and let me do it this way. Carrots are off season, cabbage is off season, berries are off season, onion is off season, garlic is off season. The only things that are on season are flax, which you really can't eat, and beetroot, right? So those are, and I actually have beetroot set to be made during this time period, but even then I have, like, I guess they didn't switch it out. They've got garlic in here. It says garlic growing, but they should have cleared that out. But my point is that you've got limited food. Like, you've just got beetroot, and you need to have, and I didn't have enough seeds, right, to even grow beetroot. Actually, if I talked to them, I said I could not find any beetroot seeds, so we didn't have enough beetroot seeds. So that's probably something I could have done better. I could have went out there and got some beetroot seeds. The other thing I want to look at is the with gathering, right? With the gatherer's hut, in the same way that in the farms you can't grow all of those foods, you're not going to be able to gather that stuff out in the wilderness either. So your gatherer's hut, right, is going to be very limited to what they can get. They can go out and try to find some beetroot, but they're going to be out there in the cold looking for stuff, and it's going to be a lot of work for them. They might not even find it, and as you guys know through my gameplay, you're always constantly kind of having to update those forager markers. So what I did, and you'll notice here, I don't actually have a gatherer assigned. What I did is I turned my gatherer into a builder so I can just keep them close, since I knew there was not going to be anything out there that they were going to be able to find anyways. All right, and that's just one less source of food for your people. The third source of food, the third and fourth source of foods are your, I'm going to say, going to kind of clump them together. You've got your fisherman hut, which is out there on the water over there, and then you've got your hunter's hut. Now, I've got two hunters running. I believe they are both daytime hunters, and they are, but more importantly, they are winter huntsmen. So in the winter, they don't get cold as fast as other people do in their profession, and because the hunters are like way out here doing hunting in the cold, if they get caught out in a blizzard or very cold weather, they're more likely to survive out there than other people's, like a gatherer would, right? Because they have that perk. And then I've got our fishermen over here. And I've only got the one fisherman. I think you can only get one initially until you upgrade, but I can build multiple fisherman huts. So I have one fisherman. He works at night and he's making fish, right? So those are going to be the hunter's hut, and the fisherman huts is really going to be the main source of food during the winter, right? I also have two cooking huts. I've got this one that has a person working during the day and cooking, and this one that has a person working at night right? So this is basically 24 hours. As all of that meat comes in, we've got 2 people, 24 hours working on this one to produce the meat. And then I've got this other one. I've got this one set up to do meat and fish as well, but it's only one person, and this person is at night as well. So here we are. We're getting cold, right? So I've got as much food as I can coming in, and you can see here, even on the last day of winter, after we've been through everything, we are full of food. That's each row here is 25, 50, 60, 61 food, and everybody's woken up, and you know, it's actually the end of the day right now. We're getting to the end of the day right now, so everybody's had their share of food. A couple people might eat before they go to sleep, but we've got plenty of food to manage our 25 villagers right now. So make sure that you focus on, and I had a whole episode about getting my food production up. Make sure that you focus on food. Okay? So food number 1, make sure that you have enough coming in the winter. Don't go into winter empty with 0 food production and try to ramp it up, because you're not going to be able to ramp it up at the last minute. The next thing I want to talk about is actually clothing. It's kind of cold right now, so what I'm going to do, if you look at in the bottom left there, you can see my, what is it called? My cold meter. If I take my clothes off, and there we go, you'll see, look at that cold meter go down, like how fast it's going down, right? This means, and the same thing will happen for your villagers as well. If they don't have any clothes on, their cold meter is going to start going down, and if it goes too low for too long, they'll start getting sick. They'll have like a cough or some other type of sickness. It's also possible, and I've had people in previous run-throughs die because they froze to death. So you don't want that to happen. To remedy that, you can go to a fire, right? And you'll see my warmth start going back up. But that's kind of a pain, because now I can go do something for a few minutes, and then I got to go back to a fire, right? So that's going to slow down production. So you really want to rely on clothes to keep you warm. And then now our temperature is like -12. You can see that up in the top right next to the map. So if I go over here, now the cold drop is less perceptible, if anything, right? I can kind of see it going down, but it's going down a lot slower than it was before. So clothing is important. I'm actually wearing tier 2 clothing, except for my cape. Most of my villagers have clothing on. For some reason, I was having a like most of them are shirtless, which is probably the most important part, because it gives you, in this case, it gives me the most cold resistance at 315. Pants are important too, so your shirt and your pants are going to give you the most. But they at least have some clothing. They have a cape, they've got a hood, they've got pants, they've got shoes, so that's going to keep them warm. So make sure before winter you've got your weaver up and you're already producing clothes. And you should be doing that year round anyways, because it's also a form of protection too. It's a form of armor. If you mouse over, you know, there's an armor level. In this case, it's armor 50. That's armor 10. It's also rain protection as well. So I know in some cases, like, people are sensitive to rain, so you know, it's better that they have something on that's going to help kind of mitigate that. Okay. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was our fires, right? So you'll notice that I have got fires all over the place. I've got a fire here. I have got a fire pretty much right next to or close to any workstation. So here's our farm. There's a fire. Here's our warehouse. There's a fire. And if you look right above my health bar there, you can see a little fire icon. That means I'm basically staying warm. If I go over here to the other side, I start getting a little cold. Right? But at least if I'm working here and then I get a little cold, I can just, you know, it's not that far of a walk, right? For the cooking huts, by default, they you know, they're cooking, so there's a fire there already, so we don't really need to add one next to those. but it's useful. I added one over there for the fisherman hut, so when they're fishing, they don't have to go very far to get warm. And then over here by the woodcutter, gatherer, and stonemason hut, I've got a couple of fires also by this warehouse on this side. So even in some cases like here, I've got 2 fires, so I'm definitely keeping warm there. You'll see the icon change right above my health bar. Now I've got 2 heat sources near me. And then so what this does by keeping them keeping these fires near these production areas, it keeps your people working during the winter, so they don't have to worry about, you know, going and finding a fire. Because like, let's say I only kept that central fire, they would have to run all the way over here. This was my first fire. They would have to run all the way over here, wait till they warmed up, and then run all the way back. And how many times they're gonna have to do that, especially with no fire and no clothes. They're going to be doing it like every 30 seconds, right? Because they're going to get cold. So make sure that you have those fires up and running. You don't really need to worry so much about the stations, like, for example, the pyre right here, or I should say the coal maker has its own source of fire, which is the pyre. So after all of the wood gets added here, right, and they light that up, this will be a heat location, but they've still got 1-2 fires that are close to them. Over here I've got the soldiers training at the barracks, and I can go in here and I can start whacking this thing, boop boop, right? But you can see I have a fire near me. I'm staying warm, so I don't have to worry about going to fire. In the cottages they have a fire, and so while they're sleeping there should be a fire lit. Usually the builders will take care of that. Every now and then you got to check, just because they don't always get it. They don't always get covered, especially when you have this many fires. They don't always get all of the fires covered, right? I think last kind of note, I did build another cottage, so we actually have 25 villagers now. So instead of 24, and I can expand that out to another 12. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what you really want to focus on is food, making sure that you have good, and these are all things you want before winter starts, right? Making sure you have good food income, especially from your hunter and your fisherman hut, because you're going to be relying less on your gatherer and your farm. You want to have your weaver up and start getting clothing, and that's why it was so important to get the farm up as soon as possible, so that you can start creating fiber, so that you can start creating clothes. Because if you go and you look at any item here, right, it's going to take this linen and rope, and then we come over here, and then linen takes 2 of these, and then, you know, if it takes, how many linen did this take? Let's just pick one. This took 2 linen, so that's sorry, this took 2 linen. And then the linen takes, yeah, there we go. It takes 4 rope, not 2, sorry. So that's 8 fiber, right? Just for 1 piece of clothing. And then multiply that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clothing per villager times 24, right? So you could kind of see where the math's going. You need a lot of linen to clothe everybody up. So get that farm up and running and producing flax as soon as possible. Even more important than food, in my opinion. As long as you have your hunter up in your fisherman hut, you will be good. And then make sure that you have those fires up. Right? And then the last thing, just like as a bonus tip, in the builder's hut, go to your tasks and make sure that fire keeping is number 1. And secondly, if you have a coal maker, and you should, if you have a coal maker, make sure that that's the only fuel source that they're using, because it's basically it's the most efficient. That's 50 per row times 6, so that's 300 coal. I've got plenty of coal for there, and I've got other storage here. That's starting to get some in there. I've got other storage here, plenty of coal storage. This is going to be important for cooking. It's going to be important during the winter for the fires. It's going to be important when we start doing metalworking. And that is going to be, we're gonna kick that off next episode. So after you watch this one, start looking out for that metalworking episode. All right, so let's switch over to our regular gameplay. Thanks for hanging out. Just about 30 seconds ago, We got our latest survivor. I should not say our last survivor. That puts us at 24. And so we're full up. We don't have any more space. I'm gonna assign him over here to the crew so that he's got a place to sorry to the cottage, so that he's got a place to stay. Give me a second here. There we go. And let me see. Let me find him in here. I think he was a fisherman. So let's go look at it from this way. So he just came in. He's a nighttime fisherman. Here we go. Ivar is his. So I'm gonna put him on the night crew, just to make sure that other people have the right schedules. Yeah, this person needs to be on night crew too. So that's I've got 3 night crew now. Maybe 4. This is a day worker. Alright, so let's see let's take a look at him. So he doesn't have any proficiencies, but he does have, it looks like, some perks around fishing during the summer. He's got more health, so he's got 300 health, but low strength, and he's a little bit more resistance to damage from cold, sore throat, and then also from lack of food. So yeah, he's decent. I think I'm going to keep him as a builder right now. The other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to check on so we are 10 hours, or that is 10 minutes from the winter. And then so what I wanted to do is jump in here a little bit earlier and see where we're at. I've got 2 cookhouses now, just to make sure that we're getting some food done. So I wanted to go check the warehouse to see how we're doing on food, and I don't think we're doing that good at all. We have a ton of meat that we need to get cooked, but no food in storage, and that's one of the problems that comes with having so many people, but only 2 daytime cooks. So the goal is, I think we've got 4 and 4 here that need to be shelved. So let me kind of reevaluate who's here, and maybe I'll even add. So we've got Stiff, who could be a builder. I mean, sorry, a stone harvester or a miner, and we've got over here. We're gonna leave Hannah just because Hannah's our best cook right now. So I'm going to put Ivar here, because I can actually have 2 cooks. Actually, this is I need to check which one this is. This is the fish cook. Yeah, that's fine. We'll put Ivar here. And then now we've got 2, like at least 1 cook at night. So we're cooking 24/7. And our fisherman is a nighttime fisherman, so they should be able to work together. All right. I'm also building finally my Chieftain hut, so I have a nice warm place to sleep at night as well. All right. So we eventually, while I was talking here, we eventually hit winter. I think the time actually goes a little bit faster then, because what did I say, 10 minutes? It was about 5. So alright, what do we need? No garlic seeds. I don't have any either, so we'll just have to do with what we have. But let me drop the ones I do have. Alright, so there we are. So the goal is, in this episode, to survive the winter, right, without losing anyone. I'm sure there's going to be some sort of blood moon that happens. No invasion. The first year doesn't have a winter invasion, but additional years will. So there shouldn't be an invasion this year. We just have to survive whatever the blood moon takes us. I feel like we're prepared with our 3. Let's go check on our 3 soldiers now. So melee combat 7, melee combat 10, melee combat 8. Okay, so they're leveling up. That's good. I do need to get some barks to finish those fires. Yes, they're running, but we need bark to cover them up so that the bad weather that's going to come with these winter storms doesn't blow them out. And we do have plenty of fish, plenty of bones over here, some more smoker horns, some more. How much meat do we have? Just the one? Yeah, just one meat. Plenty of leather. Okay, so I wanted to get the leather worker up to as well. What kind of seeds are these? Beetroot. Oh, there is some meat in here too. Meat and fish. So we should be okay on food. My only concern is that and I'm going to do this now so I don't forget, when it does hit winter, there is less likely to be food out there for the gatherers. So I'm going to actually bring the gatherers in. And we've only got 1. So Alvar, I'm going to have to remember him. Because I don't want him out there gathering and freezing to death. Right? The hunters, we're going to keep them going. And let me double check the hunters. I think, and I'm kind of remembering that they both have winter hunting. Yes. So when learning to faster, start harder from afar, the better. And the bitter cold is sweeter for me. Bitter cold is sweeter for me. So that's why I love this perk on my hunters, just because I don't have to worry about them as much during the winter, because they're the main ones that are going to go out far. Our foresters will be going out a little far too as well. And we might need to build them a fire kind of close out to where they're going. What is that? Oh, that's a rock. All right, Chieftain hut is done. Let's go check this out. And I want to show you the biggest benefit. Oh, you know what I can do. Before I do that, I want to show you the biggest benefit for the Chieftain hut. But what I want to do is assign somebody here, and I can assign. Let's assign. We've got quite a few builders. So we've got Hilda, is good at skinning and hunting. She's going to be a either an archer or a watchtower. Romney, same thing. She's more useful in crafting stuff. So I don't really have a good option from one of my builders right now. So what I'll just do is I'll give Alvar a job, so he doesn't feel totally useless. But I think last season I built a healer's hut. I never actually used it, but what a healer's hut will do is when the fire is lit and you lay down, you heal. I believe that when you assign somebody to it, you'll heal even faster. Yeah, we probably don't have that many beetroot seeds, but do what you can. So we did get some garlic down. The rest of this should all be flax. I think what they want to do is, because it's winter time, yeah, these are probably unfortunately going to go bad because they're out of season. So let's see here. So we're going to tour the hut. Here we go. This is the Chieftain's house. So I've got my own bed. I don't think I can assign more. Yeah. I could upgrade it, and I could put stuff I want to. But probably the most important thing is I now have my own rack that I could store, so I could store weapons and tools and stuff, which I may do for myself, right? And here I could store an outfit. firewood, and I could put other storages too. So if I want to, I could put a let's see here, better bed, food shelf, more food shelves, some walls, some flimsy storage. I think this is just like you can kind of put whatever you know, small items that you want here. And there's a small item shelf as well. So I haven't tested all of these, but some of these might be like useful for storing some materials and stuff. So weapon rack, yeah. And then when I lay here, you should see in the middle of the screen there, I'm starting to, I don't know why I'm sweating, but I'm starting to get a status loaded for me. It's the same thing like sleeping in the shelters or in the cottage, but now I get this buff where I'm well rested and I feel stronger, right, from that. And if I think somebody said in a different video that you know, that lasts about half an hour or so. So we'll see. It's we'll keep track of that and see when that. I'll try to keep track of that and see when it goes down. But it does look like it's not going that fast. So, all right, where are we at? It looks like they took care of most of the fires except for these two. So let me go see if I can find some bark, because we're about to hit our first night. And we got so many sticks falling over. Do I have space for bark? Yes, I do. There's nothing here. Oh, you know what I heard? In a recent patch, we can focus on firewood, and they will... So let me do this. We're not going to be building... So I'm going to leave these. It might be worth separating it out. So let's do this. Let's Ari do that. And this. And then we'll have Matilda focus on logs. And log sticks. Alright, here's the cold. I probably need to get an outfit and see. Look at this. You'll see that the ones that are not covered went out, but the ones that are covered are still up and running. Now I'm starting to get a little chilly. I think I might just have to go cut down my own trees, so. Yeah, definitely need a road from one side of the village to the... Oh yeah, look at this. Just gonna take it all over there. See if I can make myself a chest piece. Yeah, see, they're actually... So this wasn't a thing before. This guy was just chopping the firewood. So that's very cool. Before you had to do it all yourself. Alright. Up next, we're gonna put a place to put our tools and our clothes. which will be right here. So let's do... So outfit storage is like more like, hey, I want to do a set of heavy armor, set of light armor. That's how I think about it, right? And then there's but the nice thing about this is that as you fill it up, right, it will be a full set. Let's do... Let's put it right here. Because if you just put like clothing storage, what ends up happening is it just like you'll have like 10 hats in there, right, and nothing else. So I think the best way to store these is like this. You should be able to come here and just grab them from the side. From a heat perspective, we don't have to worry about that. That's always nice. Alright, let's go see if our leather is cured. Yep. There we go. And then we can make our pants. Nope, I need 10. 7 more of these linen. What about this? 7, so I need 14 linen. But yeah, like not only do you have the... So this was 162, and that's 243. And then it also has additional rain protection. But not only do we need the fiber for the rope, right? For pretty much every structure that you need to build, we need it for clothing to keep us warm in the winter. So you don't want to have to like start making that choice. Remember all that fiber that I dumped in here? It's gone now. Crazy. Crazy. I know. Right. Alright, we made 2 days through winter. Let's just check people. The biggest ones you want to look at are hunger and warmth. So everybody is looking good. The only people that might not look good on the warmth is the hunters. And maybe the fishermen too, because he's kind of out there. The hunters look okay right now. It just turned morning though, so they haven't been out. But during the day, it's not as cold. It's really the nighttime. So it's mainly the nighttime people you got to worry about. So I don't know if we have a... Yeah, we didn't give him a fire out here, so maybe we should. Alright, so over here, this was mostly food for this warehouse. I might extend it out. So let me see this. I think I messed up with that fire I did. It's alright. We can tear that one down later. After the winter. So we'll put an extension here, and then this one I will put flax storage. Maybe some more I think food is okay. Maybe some more raw food. Because this raw foods, especially with the gatherers, it tends to fill up. Especially with eggs and stuff. Yeah, before I would have been freezing already. Remember, I did like one log and maybe a little bit of another one. And I had to run back to the fire. It was a little colder. It was like minus 14, but it's minus 13 now. So, clothes are important in winter. Food is important in winter. Having fires up is important in winter. And you know, I pulled my one gatherer off, as I mentioned, mainly because I didn't want him out there getting cold, far from the rest of us. Our stone cutters, they're not going too far. Right, but our food foraging always has to go far, and our hunters have to go far. But if I look at our hunter, you know, yes, they're getting cold, but they're gonna get cold at a slower rate than other people because of their skill. So because of this one. All right, bark. This was what, for the fishermen? Alright, I think our next project is going to be building another cottage, because we need one. Because we can't bring in any more villages till we do. Yeah, a lot of stuff is going to depend on a carpenter being built. All of the tools that I need, though, once I build the carpenter and the stuff to be able to, like, you do the wood and stuff like that, is going to require metal. So that is going to happen after the winter, because the last thing I want to do is be out there, and I'm going to dedicate a whole episode to that. But the last thing I want to do is try to build an outpost in the winter. Oh, this is going to be a little elevated. It's nice now in the winter, you know, that's keeping all the fires up, and that's what I was going to do. I was going to go double check the builder's hut. I did look at it, but I wanted to check just to make sure that we were only doing coal. Yeah. I didn't do it at first just because we were in that let's get our coal inventory up stage. But now we should just be using all firewood to make coal. And apparently, clothing racks. I had no idea. Alright, so let's see. I needed to be grabbing stones. And I need to make some rope. Long sticks. Everybody's looking good. Is this? That's our nighttime fisher person, so they're a little cold, but everybody's alive. Yeah, a nice to have would be, I mean, I love the sled. It's great. But would just be like a backpack. Like, you know, to carry a little bit more of the small and medium materials. Without having to carry a sled. Yeah, it's, we went through all the flags. Alright, 25. I think we only have a few more days left of winter. What are we, where we're at? 22, I think. Started this. Yeah, if you're not playing this game or you've never played this game, I mean, first of all, I love the seasons and how they change, but winter really feels like winter, like it, you know, because you know everything turns white, and it's just the attention to detail, like you know, all of the rocks, all of the stones, the stumps, just everything's covered. The only thing that, you know, like that's not frozen, but I would imagine that would be frozen. But other than that, it just looks like a winter wonderland. So this will give us another 12 people. I'm gonna start getting to work. Put these stones back. Alright, so I'm gonna call the next person down since we're almost done with that. Come on down. You're the next contestant on the Viking Village is right. Alright, farmer stamina. I mean, yeah. This one's a no-brainer. And I think I do need to go out and get some more stones. Alright. It is done. Like, even like if you look at the cottages, right? Like, they've got the little icicles hanging off the front. That's so cool. Alright. So we should have 2 spots here in a second. Yep, there we go. And when our survivor comes down, we will assign them a spot. Alright, next thing I was going to do was start a road. So probably around here. I'm gonna go like this. Could split it up and then, you know, pave out the center there a little bit. And then when it comes spring, we'll build a road to the mining post. Let's do it this way. Put one up here. I don't think I need it to lay out the road. So we were gonna do, what's the best way to do this? I don't want it in between here. So let's start it here. So we're gonna go to terraforming road planner. What's the difference here? I know the road takes more stone, but let's do this. Gotta do these. Okay, you want to do it kind of in the center. Go. Should be good to about here. And I want to still have this area to kind of build in. So I don't want to go too far down that way. I think I'm also need to, you know, like make room, make sure I have enough room for another warehouse if I need it. So we should see, so right now if I sprint around, look at my stamina there right below my health bar. And then let me regrain that. And then now if I run on the road, it goes down much slower. And that's going to be important because one, when the bad guys show up and we've got to run from one side of the town to the other to defend it, right? We want to get there with full stamina. This is also going to be super important when we build the road, the mine, right? Just getting back and forth, right? It's going to shave minutes off our time. So probably, I don't think I'm going to build anything in between here. So we could probably build out this way. It's too close. Yeah. We'll probably for sure have the what is it called? The metal work? Not the metal worker. The bloomery, right next to the coal maker. All right, so let's talk one more time about what we did this winter, right? You know, barring a blood moon that might come here and just wreck everything, which is still on the table, which is still totally possible. The main things that we did to kind of prepare for winter is first we moved everybody inside the cottages so that they have a cottage with an actual, oh, and I forgot to build the they have a cottage with an actual fire. They've got firewood there too, so they can stay warmer sleeping by the fire. So let me go ahead and add some fuel for them. Oh, they're waking up now, but yeah, it would have been nice. Let's see if, yeah, some of them might have been cold. I need to give this guy a home. All right. So yeah, so one, to kind of prepare for it, get cottages up, They can sleep in the outside shelters, but that just becomes like when you've got 25 people, you don't want 25 shelters out there. So I've got each one of these cottages will hold up to 12 people and keep them warm, all in this nice contained area. Build fires near all of your work areas. So the farm has a fire, our hunter's hut, cook pit, warehouse over here has a fire close to it. The cook pits themselves will keep you warm, and I'll show you this. If you just go over by the cook pit, you see I get the little fire symbol and the fire status, right? That just means I'm staying warm. Let me grab all of this food that I can. That's a lot. I'll store it in here. All right, so you know, make sure that you have fires at all the workstations. Make sure that you have your builders set to fire keeping for priority. So that they will go and make sure that they keep these fires lit, so that people stay warm. So again, over here in where the workshop is in the warehouse over here, we've got that. Bloomery does, I mean not the bloomery, but the coal maker doesn't really need one because it stays warm most of the time, but that fire is not too far, and you need to make sure that you have them covered or they will blow out. They will extinguish in times like this, right, where there's wind blowing and there's a storm. The other thing that you want to do, right, so villagers in the houses with fires around the camp. You'll want to make sure that you clothe people. You get cold resistance from that. It just basically means that people can last longer outside in the cold. I still see some people running around shirtless, but they at least have some cloaks, some shoes, something to help them with their cold resistance. So just keep those, that's really what you need to do. Keep them warm, keep them fed, right? Make sure that you have plenty of food. Cooking, I have 2 cook pits going, one of them going 24/7, and I've got 2 hunters going out there and getting food. I did a whole episode right on just food, and we seem to be doing pretty well. Again, let's just go look in here. You guys saw me dump it, but I've got everybody woke up and ate already, and we still have 14 food left there. We've got plenty of meat that we can still cook, and we've got our at least this one's going right now, and this one's going to be going too as well. So we're doing well. We've got a fisherman out there getting fish, 2 hunters getting that. So food is essential. So that's really all you need to do, right? Keep them warm, keep them fed, and keep them clothed, and you will survive the winter. All right, so I think that's it. I think we've got 1 day left, which is 1 more night. I don't think, outside of a blood moon, I don't think we have really anything to worry about. Everybody is looking good on food. Nobody's super cold right now. We have got we've got an extra, sorry, not an extra, but an additional cottage up now, so I can start calling in more people and bringing in more people. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this last kind of winter day to go out and get some stones, and so that I can start calling in people for our next adventure, which is going to be expansion. So we're pretty solid here in terms of if you can make it through a winter without losing anybody from a food standpoint, right, you're pretty stable. So we're pretty solid here, and I think we have enough capability now to build our outposts. And the big thing that is keeping us from getting further is getting a carpenter up. And in order to get a carpenter, Let me just show you. I need to go to the workshop, and let me take the road so I don't lose all my stamina. But getting a carpenter up. Just look at this. All right, so carpenter is going to take hardwood, and hardwood comes from birch trees, and you can't cut down birch trees unless you have a metal, axe, right? So in order to get the carpenter, which again is going to be kind of like dependent upon a number of other things, you've got to get a metal worker. And in order to get a metal worker, you've got to get a bloomery. And all of that is going to be needed in order to make metal tools and weapons and things like nails, right? So if we look at some of the future improvements, so for example, we can make a sled to carry stuff. If I want a cart, I need nails, right? If I want a longhouse, I need nails. If I want to do some of my or am I building upgrades? So I got a stonecutter's hut, but if I want to make a stonecutter's hut, I need nails. So nails is going to be nails, among other things, is going to be kind of your new rope, because you see that they pulled rope out of these. So you're not tying things together, you're nailing it together, and in order to do all of that, right, you need the carpenter here, carpenter here, carpenter here, carpenter here. So we've already got our game plan, right? Build a bloomery, build a metal worker, build a carpenter. Right? But all of that means nothing if we don't have the metal. So we've got to go over here and build a mine. So next episode we'll focus on getting that core infrastructure here, and then over here, and then we'll build a road out here, and we'll build an outpost. And what we'll probably do is just, you know, I think last season what I did is I built a cottage out there, and I had 12 people basically supporting that outpost. Could I have expanded it? Yep, absolutely. There were a number of other things that we could have kept doing on there, but I think for me it was like a minimum of 12 to support that, because you want somebody cutting wood, right, so that you can make torches. You want somebody at the workshop making the tools for everybody to kind of support. You want a warehouse worker, you want an outpost worker, you probably want some guards and whatnot. So we'll talk about all that for now. So yeah, this is it. We've got, like I said, we only got one more day here, so I think I'm gonna call it a win. It's about to be nighttime, so I'm gonna save here, and if we do have a blood moon, it will be in the next episode. All right, so I'll see you guys then. Thanks for hanging out.